So I'm on a new strand here, a new beach. I got myself here, piece by piece, bit by bit. I am withdrawing more and more, I know. Not in any sadness or disappointment, but in a sort of acceptance. It has been coming all my life. I have been here before, and I have resisted it always, wanting to belong, I suppose, but never ever knowing why, and knowing I never did belong, and knowing it was not important to belong, except that we are told that it is. I don't understand my brothers and sisters anymore. Well, I don't understand what they want, because I do not want alike. Maybe I never did, or maybe I do all too well know them. And there is no excusing me in this. Perhaps I should acknowledge a schism, a breach of something in my childhood to explain it. But I haven't, because I feel lucky. Just alone. There is an exercise in acting. What do you want? Which will determine the action you play. It's a very useful question to ask oneself. And we know there is out there a lot of everyone wants this or that, but they don't alike. I remember years ago reading about Hippolytus in a Phaedra, a play, a translation of Euripides by an American poet, Robert Lowell. I was much taken by it. Overwhelmed by the confusion Hippolytus feels as he runs with his animals, the wild beasts, his god being Artemis, the goddess of the hunt and chastity and wilderness, the moon and childbirth, a goddess. Such a useful conception to me, such a flurry of images that a person would have a favorite god of a pantheon to whom they adhere somehow, and the god reciprocates. Phaedra, his stepmother, is obsessed with him. His father, Theseus, doesn't understand him, distrusts him. In the great Mary Renaud novel, The Bull from the Sea, she digs deep into this, and Theseus causes his death. As if really he could not coexist with his opposite to him, with this opposite to him. The scene of the play at the end on the beach, as Hippolytus lies dying in his ruined chariot, and the scene between he and Theseus is almost unplayable. My father was no Theseus, except all fathers are a bit of Theseus, and the patriarch is Theseus entirely. His story is so vital today with the mess we make of it, of the male, his blues, his self-confrontation on that beach with his mangled son. Or maybe we don't. Maybe I am wrong, but I am I nonetheless. The father who thinks he was too absent to be around his son enough, while not understanding ever that he wasn't that important as a presence, that is a footnote of his hubris. The boy must make himself of his own clay, and maybe the only response to the famous King Theseus is a withdrawal from the crowd into the woods. The noisy king generates the quiet prince. Both are taking risks with their selves. The noisy, visible king might be necessary to a timid realm, but the sun lit by the moon is as important, maybe more, because so few will venture there. He is Hamlet, obviously, the alternative, not deficient, just other, not the man who could not make up his mind, the man with a mind that must be survived and explored and discovered, a kingdom in a nutshell, were it not that he has bad dreams. Hamlet is not Hippolytus, one can try. I probably did, but it makes less sense than it should. There are these variations of men in a world that only reverts to Theseus as the adult, leaving boys behind, while being Theses, being only boys themselves, while the moon-child poet disappears into the forest and is missed and is lost. The latest shock was this meme of the moment, the Ian McKellen speaking of the speech of Shakespeare's Thomas More regarding the unwelcome stranger. It has More raging at the commoners of London for not welcoming the refugee, fair enough, ever and again disdaining them. Had it been another year, I would have quipped that Thomas More was a great and enthusiastic burner of Protestants, who was strange, to him at least. That Sir Ian's technical bombast has never impressed me, and berating is a thing that Shakespeare loved doing, putting his rants at the people into the mouths of his endless aristocrats, which does mirror the condescension of the ruling class here and in old England today. Maybe that's it. Maybe it is the burdensome choice of the hidden and frozen out intuitive that I strap myself to, the illiterate animal part of every one of us that sticks in grief and cannot leap to blame. I saw a short on YouTube yesterday where a woman, famous I suppose, told us who she hated, then went on to who she blamed for what is going on in America today and almost everywhere else, it seems, and that was enough for her. So I could hear in my mind's ear a lot of shouts, vicarious shouts of approval, the sort of persons living with rage and frustration and begging the question. They are the successful ones. Because who chooses to lead with their world of hate? I'll never know for sure, but it looks like something unexamined, a building up of shadow that happens to our more sophisticated citizens. They have read all of F. Scott Fitzgerald's books, assured that the treasure of this life will open like clams. Then it doesn't, that the unencumbered study of existence is only postponed by the study of what other people think of existence, and that our system, our pyramid values are easily found but painfully held. And that is the point, loving our self-repression and prudery like we do, as effortful as Ezra Klein and as arid. This psychic desolation is why we rage and condemn. Confusion is much more painful and fruitful than condemnation, and on we go, justifying and hacking like Sir Thomas, perhaps. The grateful, innocent, helpless immigrant is his audience, our audience. There stands the hardened, defensive citizen, abused since the first sunrise by Thomas and his masters, adopting a bigotry taught him, drugged with anger, negatively defining like it's going out of style. And so it goes.